Welcome to the Happy, Healthy Life Podcast with your hosts, Rob and Randy, who reveal the truth, the lies, and confusion about health so that you are no longer the victim to mainstream medical dogma and you are the hero to your own happy, healthy story.
So, Randy, welcome to the show.
Warren, man, it's good to be here. It's what an honor, man. I hadn't seen you or connected with you, and what were we thinking? Maybe a decade, maybe longer.
Yeah. Oh, it's longer.
Yeah, it's longer than a
Definitely
decade.
Yeah. Probably like 2008, 2009.
Yeah.
I would say, yeah.
Well, you look the same. I'm happy for you. I do not look the same. The gray has taken over, but you know what? I'm embracing it. I'm just glad to have hair.
It looks good. It looks good. I mean, guys in gray, women in gray. It's the
new thing. They're dyeing their hair gray on purpose.
Yeah. My wife did do that once.
Is she?
Yeah. Now she's starting to get natural gray, but she doesn't. Yeah. It's the most non-toxic thing is to kind of bleach your hair, right? I guess when it comes to hair, but we won't get into that because that's not our jam. Tell us, how did you
not today anyway.
Not today. We will get into that. I do cancel hair dyes often. Tell us your story, man. How did you wind up in natural health? And then once you got into natural health, you had a cancer diagnosis that is just it sends shockwaves through the communities that we were involved with. With great outcomes, and actually shifted a lot of people's mindset around nutrition, around cancer. We've lost a mutual friend to cancer, right? And that really woke up. It's not just chiropractic nerve interference. You know, there's more to the picture, and everyone gets focused on things, right? And it's great. It's great having niches and focus. So I would just love for you to share with everybody your heart and your experience and your story, man.
Yeah, thanks again for having me on. So, wow, where do you unpack and where do you start? You know, I guess I was born into the typical American home. I was born in Texarkana, Texas. Do you even know where that is, Warren?
I do not.
Man, that is the most northeast corner of Texas, small town. We're famous for mullets, braided belts, and tractor pulls.
It sounds awesome.
I mean, it's a pretty cool place.
Yeah, it sounds awesome as far as I'm concerned.
But I grew up, man.
Can I move there?
Yeah. Hey, listen, my mom still lives there. I go there all the
Beautiful.
time to get off the grid and get out of the matrix, out of Dallas-Fort Worth, where I currently live. But, you know, I grew up in an amazing, just a lower middle class home. We didn't have a lot, but, you know, we did things as a family. I'm the oldest of three boys, incredible mother and father. And, you know, we're in church every Sunday, and I think every day the door was open. We were there. We were cleaning the church. We were at visitation. We were at some type of chili cook-off. We were at, you know, whatever was going on at the church, we were always there. So I grew up in a loving, godly home. But I really grew up in kind of what we call in the chiropractic world. And we'll get to, you know, I'm a chiropractor by trade. But we kind of grew up in a medicine cabinet, you know, like most people grow up in, where really you look to the medical system for your answers. Yeah. So, you know, I never ran a fever as a child because every time there was a fever, there was a drug. You know, I never really went through anything. There wasn't some type of drug involved because for every symptom, there's always a pill to treat the symptom.
You start coughing, there's the cough syrup.
You got the suppressant, right? Yeah. You got the fever, you got the fever suppressant. You know, you got, you know, diarrhea, you know, you got to take the suppository to stop throwing up. You know, everything you're doing, you're stopping your body from doing what it's supposed to do. I mean, I lived on antibiotics. Mm-hmm. I don't know how many rounds I possibly had of antibiotics growing up, even into like college years, which is insane.
I had allergies, and they thought that for allergies, they didn't know what's wrong with me, so they just put me on freaking antibiotics.
When in doubt, throw drugs at it, as if every single problem that we have is a deficiency of toxic chemicals, which is insane. If you give drugs to a healthy person, it makes them sick. How is giving drugs to a sick person going to make them healthy? And the real question is, was I really sick? Or was my body doing the right thing under the circumstances, which, looking back on it now, coughing and fever and diarrhea and throwing up, that was the body doing the right thing, not the wrong thing. But that was, you know, I grew up in a great home, but I really grew up being conditioned in that medical way of thinking, you know, pump full of vaccines, drugs at every corner. But there was something in me early, Warren, where I felt like I was going to make a difference somehow, leading people with health. And I'm not sure, but I think the first memory that I have of this was my great-grandmother. So my mother's, her mother's mom, and she died at 100 years old. And I remembered I was probably 4, 5, or 6 years old. And I remember thinking how amazing that great granny lived to be 100.
Yeah, me too. Do
you have that similar story?
Same story, yeah, and had wits about her and everything.
Oh yeah, no cognitive decline. She was on no medication.
None.
She rendered pig lard. They had a hog farm, had a garden. They just did it. They milked cows, they churned butter, everything was natural and more ancestrally based. And she lived to be 100. And I'm thinking, I want to live to be 100 years old. I was a young kid. Didn't know how that was going to happen. Wasn't even sure what that meant. But
you were a biohacker at 6.
That was biohacking before it was cool, right? I'm like, I'm going to 100.
Longevity medicine.
That's right, baby. That was where it was. So I'm seeing this, and there was a lot of wisdom in that, actually, because you don't have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to be healthy, which is the reality. Because she sure wasn't, and she was breaking a lot of the traditional rules of health that we're taught today. Obviously, that we'll talk about.
But they were small amounts.
They were, yeah. So I think she even dipped snuff. I'm not on if I'm supposed to tell on great
of course
granny,
she
but
did.
yeah, of course she did.
Oh, good great grandma.
That's right. So she was on one medication.
Throwing a big fatty in a lip,
That's right.
So did I walking to school. So
hey, man, there you go. So
packing that can of Skull. I still do the thing, man.
Man, well, my roommate in college, original fine cut. There were spit cans everywhere. I lived with this guy for 2 years. He finally got me to try it. It only took one time to break me from ever developing that habit. Yeah. Spinning around the room.
Yeah, and you puke.
Oh, I was puking everywhere. Ruined my entire weekend. So yeah, never again. But I never saw great granny puke, but I did see her go to 100 years old in incredible, robust health, and it inspired me as a young kid. So I wasn't sure what that looked like. Fast forward, I'm in undergrad. I'm not sure what I want to do. I'm thinking something in the medical field. And I'm doing this advanced sociology paper on alternative medicine. Wow. And of course, you can imagine chiropractic got thrown into that biosphere there. And here I am.
Probably under the bus, though, too, didn't they? But you researched it, so you found some of the history.
I start diving deep. Yeah. Once, man, when I'm a dog on a bone, I do not let up. So I'm on this bone, going down this rabbit hole, looking at everything. And I remember reading about it, and I'm thinking, I really connect to this philosophy. It's really something I never really heard before, to be quite honest.
None of us do.
But it was in me, and I really believed it. I just didn't know how to articulate it or if it was even okay to say it. I just didn't know what that looked like. So that kind of got the juices flowing with our alternative medicine or chiropractic care. Anyway, my dad would go to a chiropractor when his back went out, right? So 2 times a year. And he loved this. He loved his chiropractor, but he used it more as of pain relief, which great. It was awesome for him. He loved it. He talked highly of his doctor. And he brought me home a book that he got from this doctor. And it was the Chester Wilk book about suing the American Medical Association. And I remember reading this book thinking, now I'm really curious about chiropractic because I like to disrupt. That's something that's been in me since a very young boy. If something's wrong and people are being misled and lied to, I want to take it head on. So at that point, my dad gets me on the phone with this chiropractor. He had another buddy who was doing really, really well. I talked to a couple of chiros. They said, you need to go to chiropractic school. So you know what I did? I enrolled. I had like 140 hours and no degree. And all I needed was organic chemistry that summer, took the class, got accepted, started at Parker College of Chiropractic in Dallas-Fort Worth, and still didn't know exactly what that meant, but I felt God was calling me down that road. And that's actually where I met Dr. Rob Vasquez, my best friend and my business partner now with Happy Healthy. And he was a guy at her was doing really well. I'd gone to his clinic to check him out. He'd been in practice maybe 4 years since, and I was still in school, so he'd already graduated. But I went to see his practice, and I was like blown away. This guy's got families and kids. I think he adjusted a couple of dogs. Yeah. I mean, you got this incredible energy, and I'm like, I want to do that for the rest of my life. So he quickly became my mentor, my best friend. Fast forward now, this is 8 years into practice. And this is really probably closer to the time that I had connected with you back in the Body by God, Maximize Living days, who were my mentors at one point. And I was 8 years into practice, and I get diagnosed with late-stage cancer. Like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
I was so ashamed and so embarrassed. So check this out. My father had just passed away 2 years earlier from the complications of late-stage cancer. Here I am 2 years later, and everybody's looking at me like I'm the healthy guy.
Yeah.
I've always looked healthy. I've always been very lean, very muscular, meticulous with everything that I do. Teaching, thousands, that time running one of the largest clinics in the country chiropractically. And here I am, they gave me 2 months to 2 years to live. Wow. I couldn't believe it. So you really find out what you believe when you're thrown into the fire.
Yeah. And that's like, I've always wondered, if that happened to me, would I be strong enough to?
Because we all say what we will do.
All the natural health people say it, but
what will you do?
What will you do?
And there's only one way to know. Hopefully you don't have to know that way.
Yeah.
But I was faced with some very tough decisions. Because here I am. I got the cancer. It was metastatic melanoma. Started on my back and had grown over about a year and a half. Got about the size of a quarter. They called it a 7-millimeter Breslow. And it would look disgusting. So I just wanted it cut off. I was in denial. I'm not thinking anything is wrong with me. I just wanted to take my shirt off and go to the pool.
Yeah.
So they cut it off. Warren, within about 2 weeks, I've got golf ball size adhesions and lesions all under my arm, all in my lymphatic chain.
It spread that quickly.
That quick. 2 weeks later, now my liver's sticking out of my body. It spread to my liver. And then after about 2 to 3 more weeks, it's in my stomach. And now I'm not eating. So I dropped about 30 pounds very quickly. I'm looking gray, liver sticking out, lymphatics swollen everywhere. And now I'm not sleeping, I'm not eating, and I'm going downhill quick, fast, and in a hurry. And I still hadn't told anybody. Didn't even tell Rob, my best friend. Didn't tell my brother. Didn't tell my family. And I just didn't know what to do. So what gave me the strength really to ask some very difficult questions was the one thing that I can't be more thankful for. It's what chiropractic gave me. Because people always want to know, so what'd you do? You're not dead, right?
Right.
Which is a great clinical outcome. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Not being dead, great clinical outcome.
Amen.
They want to know, what did you do?
Right.
But it's not what I did. It's why I did what I did. Because that's really what it boils down to. What do you really believe? Because once your belief has been tested, it moves to a conviction. And convictions cannot be shaken. So that belief was that God designed me to be healthy, right? That health is the normal and disease, like cancer, is the abnormal. And cancer didn't make me sick. I was already sick. That's why I was expressing cancer. And so treating cancer would still leave the cause of why my body was breaking down and not adapting to its environment chemically, physically, and emotionally. Well, guess what gave me that ability to ask those questions and to have that mindset?
Your training.
Chiropractic.
Yeah.
Seriously, outside, and this is no joke, outside of salvation, my personal relationship with Jesus Christ, the second greatest thing that's ever been given to me was that principle right there. It saved my life.
Me too.
It saved us. Saved you. It saved, how many people do we know that it's saved? And what's crazy is, people that love God every day get diagnosed with cancer and they don't make it, right? So it's not God's fault, right? It's kind of like one of those things where, God leads and guides us and points us in the right direction, and we have to ask and seek for those things. And I felt like I was in a place where I was open to learn and put my faith to the test. If I really believed that to be true, I was going to be proven wrong or I was going to be proven right. And I didn't want to be right or wrong. I just wanted to know what to do. So I started asking myself, would treating the cancer make the most sense for me? It was a pretty easy answer to get to because the answer was obviously, well, no, because I wasn't sick with cancer because I was deficient in chemo, because they wanted to hook me up to a chemo pump. I wasn't deficient in radiation. That wasn't causing the cancer, which is why I refused the treatment, because we know the cause is the cure. All right. So the emotional wound of losing my father 2 years earlier was devastating. Was the chemo going to repair the emotional devastation that I went through losing my father? Of course it wasn't, because I wasn't adapting chemically, physically, emotionally. I was working 80 hours a week. I didn't process my dad's death very well.
Nope. I
just went into a hole, worked harder to make him more proud of me.
Yep.
I just wanted to fix it, and I couldn't fix it. And I think all those things, it was the perfect storm. Was I making some nutritional mistakes? No doubt about it. We may talk about that in a second. But ultimately, I had to trust what I really believed, and that was that health is the normal. Remember, health and disease are the same thing. I want to say that again because that's a challenging thing to wrap your head around. Health and disease, they're the exact same thing. You don't treat either one of them. It's the body doing the right thing under the circumstances. Well, what type of circumstances had I created? What was my role in this journey? Mm-hmm. So I wanted to create an environment where great things were more likely to happen.
Yeah, and give the viewers a breakdown of that. It's like if you give your body too much sugar, it's going to create diabetes. It's going to create disease.
Yeah.
If you give it a balanced sugar as it was intended in an orange or even in an apple, the modified ones that are super sweet even we'll even say,
right?
Then you're more likely to express health, right? So it's that basic, right? It's not that you got hit with bad luck. It's decisions that you didn't know. I mean, yeah, they're genetics, but for the most part, I've seen no matter where you've been at, even and I've heard miracle stories like you're about to share, which I want to get back to. I've seen it over and over again when you give, and the big part, and I think I want many people to drill down on this. If you have an unresolved trauma, it will wreck your day. I had trauma going on when I got sick. I didn't express what you expressed.
Like emotional trauma?
Oh, yeah, like emotional trauma.
Yeah. No
emotional
question.
trauma. I had physical trauma. I had a whiplash accident. I cleaned up a mercuric oxide site. I was cleaning up hazardous waste, drinking Mountain Dew, like all the physical, food trauma and toxin
all
trauma.
The normal daily activities you would prescribe for somebody to live an outrageously healthy life.
Yeah. And I was working, long hours, then going and serving at church too much because you can die when you go to heaven, and sleep wasn't an important thing according to the pastor.
How many times we say something like that's stupid? Like,
was stupid.
I'll sleep when I die.
Yeah, that's a really bad statement. Remove that from your vocabulary because it will kill you.
Yeah, it will.
Right. It's, So anyway, here we are.
No, and it was, so I put my faith to the test.
Yeah.
Not that I'm, smarter than anybody else, because clearly anybody who knows me knows that I should give everybody a lot of confidence that you can do anything in life. I'm not the smartest guy, but I do question things, and I always seek for the truth. And that's something that I think served me well in this moment. So I had heard about a doctor in southern Spain. He was a medical doctor from Lebanon, cellular biologist, and he didn't treat conditions. He treated the person who had the condition. What a concept, right? So I'm hearing this and I'm connecting that because I'm like, now, wait a second.
I've heard this before.
I can live with that type of a strategy because that was always, doctor of chiropractic, doctor of cause. And that connected with me. In fact, Greg Lohman, which we both know, he was the doctor who told me about this doctor. He had taken his wife there. I believe she had been diagnosed with Lyme's disease, had gotten well. And so he said, I don't know if he can help you, but I think you'll like his approach. It's worth going over there. And so since I knew I was not going to engage in any type of medical care respectfully, that it was worth the trip. I could die on the beach in Spain drinking a glass of Rioja. It sounded a lot better than being hooked up to a chemo pump. So here I am. I go over there. I'm by myself at the time. Had two amazing friends who joined me. One of those, Rob Vasquez, my best friend, joined me at some point to help take care of me, pray for me, adjust me. But I go over there, and it was insane because I get there, and I meet with this doctor, Dr. Raymond Helu, still a really good friend of mine. Just saw him this last summer in Spain, doing phenomenal. And he gives me a 20-second consultation for $20,000. I know you want to hear that consultation.
I do. What is?
I know the listeners want to hear this consultation.
How can you? So let me get this right. So for 20 seconds of his time, he charged you $20,000. I can't wait to hear this story.
Yeah. So me too. I got to tell it again just to believe it. So here I am. I'm waiting. They ran my blood work. I'm sitting in a room waiting for this guy to come give me the report of findings. And literally the door busts open. It felt like he kicked it in. He clearly didn't. But the door just busts open and he points at me and he goes, "I'll do nothing that will kill you." And I'm like, well, thank God, because they couldn't offer me that in America.
Yeah.
And then he goes, "Now listen, you might die, but I'm going to do everything that I can do to get your body adapting again, chemically, physically, and emotionally. I think it's your best chance to get well and for the cancer not to come back. Here's the best part." He goes, "Randy, there's no need for theatrics. Are you ready to get started?"
20 seconds.
Consult over. Maybe 18 seconds. What do you think I said?
Yes. Probably got excited.
Okay. I didn't ask him what it was going to cost. I didn't ask him how long it was going to take. I didn't ask him for more research. I said, absolutely. Because I believed I found the man that had the confidence, the certainty, and the belief to help me get well and to do it in a way I could live or die with. And so we started immediately. And obviously, we talked about I'm not dead, which is a great clinical outcome. But I want to take you back to the very first week I was there. Because I'll be honest with you, I was really struggling. My mindset was what I had to protect. That's one of the reasons I wanted to leave the country. Because how many times you end up in a situation where even people that love and care about you, they just really don't understand what we know. And they want the best for you, but they can't believe that you wouldn't go to a Western-trained medical doctor and follow their recommendation. They can't believe you wouldn't get chemotherapy or have some type of surgery.
Now, there's people listening to this going, oh my gosh, I'm going to turn it off right now because, chemo saved my life. Well, that wasn't your journey.
No question. And for anybody listening where that was your journey, you know what? God bless you, and I'm so happy for you. My journey just happened to be a little bit different. And for a lot of people, they just don't know there was another way or that there was anything else that they could do. And so I hope my story inspires and maybe gives people the confidence and the certainty to know that God does not make junk, okay? That health really is the normal. So I'm over there. I get out of the country. I need to protect my mindset. And I'm over there, and I'm in a dark, dark place. You got the one person on your shoulder, whoever that person is, saying that you're going to die. You got the other person on the other shoulder going, no, you're going to live. And you're vacillating back and forth, fighting these mental demons. And it felt like I couldn't even sleep. I couldn't think. I'd never been out of the country, Warren. I'm over there, a little bit of a language barrier. I'm by myself. I'm not feeling good. I don't know if I made the biggest mistake of my life.
Yeah.
I have no idea. And
I've been like that before.
Okay.
Like I'm not quite to that moment, but I've had those moments in my life. Like, what am I doing here? I don't even
know how I got there.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even that you don't even know what you're going to do. You don't even know how did you get here?
And you don't know if you can trust these people. You have one point of contact. Greg, sent you over there. That was it. When you get there and you're alone, like, I can't even imagine with what you had going on. I'd be scared out of my mind.
Oh, and when I say I don't even know how I got here, I'm talking about the view of 30,000 feet. Like, wait a second. You were just in your practice, healthy, well, thriving, helping coach other doctors, helping thousands of patients restore their health. How did you get here? That was overwhelming. So I remember I woke up on a Sunday morning and I was like, I have to break this mental cycle, this pattern. So I got in my car and I'd heard about this beautiful beach. It's a kite surfing beach, famous beach called Tarifa. And at the tip of southern Spain, you can see Morocco from the coast. Drove by the Rock of Gibraltar. So I go down to this beach. I just needed to break this mental cycle. And I'm looking around and I see the beautiful mountains. I see Morocco. I see the sand. I see the water. I see the seashells. I see all this beauty. And I get a voice. This is one of those burning bush moments where it's like we're having this conversation, Warren. It's like I'm talking to God in that moment. And he says, Randy, it's so cute that you're fascinated with the mountains and the water and the rocks and all this beauty. He goes, but I didn't make any of that in my image. I made you. You're not going to die. You're going to live, and you're going to tell of the works of the Lord. That's all I heard. And that was the moment where everything shifted for me. Like, mindset completely had a 180. And I remember driving back, feeling so excited about getting back, finishing these treatments, whatever God was going to do. I was so excited about it. Then, of course, Rob comes out to see me. I had another buddy come out and see me. They're taking care of me. And I was there for a couple of months. And over those 2 months, about an 80 to 90% restoration of my health. It was remarkable. And I think the biggest factor to that healing was that moment where I stopped playing games mentally and I saw myself well, right? Because our thoughts are more powerful than reality.
Yeah.
And I think that's really the difference, but why one person wouldn't make it with a cancer diagnosis and one person would, whatever they even do, whatever treatment, whatever strategy. But I think the one person that really makes it is the one who can really see themselves healthy. They can see themselves on the other side of this.
Yeah, and there's science backing that.
You got it.
Backing that shit up now.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Oh, yeah, there is.
Yeah, so it's happening all the time.
Yeah.
Right? And without very little nutritional changes and just with mindset, because it's a linchpin. It's not sexy. It's becoming sexy, but
A little more so, but yeah,
a
it's
little
not.
more so, right? We always want the pill, the potion, the supplement. But after being in this, like you,
Yeah.
for 20 years, the mindset piece has been the critical shift happens first, more so than all the supplements and things. And I mean, again, I'm on a mission. I'm like, I mean, I have a really, they think I'm the toxins cancel guy, but no, like I'm the mindset shift guy.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Ultimately, but that's not cool, unless you're Tony Robbins, and he kind of owns that market, right?
Yeah.
But it's way bigger than that. It's way bigger than that. It's. I think the difference, and I want to continue with your story, but I think the difference what you experienced versus positive mindset is that you connected with the divine. You connected with God that day, right? And in a powerful way. And that spiritual energy, knowing that you can trust that implicitly, relaxes your nervous system. It allows your body to heal. And without that knowing, without that surrender, like we talked about and with Rob on the previous podcast, without that surrender, you really shut down that divine flow. And I don't know how to say it, but we all have changed over the years.
Yeah.
And for me, I just try not to do things that shut down that divine flow. That's why I'm present with my kids, because I can see and experience God. I'm present with nature because I can see and experience God. I feel the love. I literally feel it, and it energizes me, and it heals me.
Yeah.
And it gives me life, and it's the foundation. And then out of that, I get to do all these other fun things.
Yeah.
And it gives me the strength to do this.
Yeah.
To just go for it, because I feel your love. I feel your story. You are reflecting your God. You're reflecting God, right? I feel his love in you and your story. And when you say that, I know what you're saying. I have an experience. Well, I've had I've had several burning bush moments in my life, and they've always, sometimes they have been where I love you without anyone saying anything, and feeling his love, the waves of the love, and having it heal me, and I cry and I wake up and changes the whole trajectory of my life.
Yeah.
It puts me on a mission and on a purpose many, many years ago, back in February 6th of 2000. And then I've had it when I've been in some of the hardest times of my life where I did nothing wrong, was painted to be something bad, and I was taught that some of the greatest moments of my life, like, and in that moment, it wasn't love. It was like, Warren, I'm teaching you to glide, not strive in life. Just allow it to happen. It's working for you. Like, you say those things. Life's working for you. These little cliche settings.
All the colloquials are great, but it goes back to what I talked about earlier, and you confirmed it. It's, what do you really believe when you're thrown directly into the fire? The same truth in the light's the same truth in the dark. I had to anchor to that, but I don't want to lie to the audience. I was furious. I was mad at God.
Me too. Yeah,
I was very angry. How could this happen to me?
The guy helping everybody.
You just took my father. Okay, what I didn't tell you is, at the time I get back from Spain, my youngest brother, Ryan, dies at 27 from a heart attack. Just lost my dad. I barely survived or came through this cancer diagnosis. My youngest brother's dead. And I feel like God's just like taking my family off the planet. Very, very angry. And then you have that survivor's guilt too. Because I'm like, why couldn't? Because now the chiropractor healer in me is like, why couldn't you save your brother? Why couldn't you save your dad? Why are you still alive and you couldn't even save them? What type of doctor are you? Are you really who you say you are? You're a fraud. You're all these things that I'm processing on top of all of that.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. But it wasn't God's fault, obviously.
Well, I think that's one of the greatest revelations there to that point is we all do that. We beat the living junk out of ourselves.
Yeah.
And if you get connected to God, he's saying quite the opposite. I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
You are an amazing doctor.
Yeah,
do you know how much you've sacrificed for others? You're a giver.
Yeah.
You give life to others. Man, I am so proud of you. You should be proud of yourself.
Yeah.
That's what I hear on the daily.
Yeah.
Because I try to quiet all the other things and my mind starts beating me up and I still get beat up. And I've been swearing at God plenty.
Oh, yeah. I'll still do it.
Yeah.
I'll still do it. And he's
I think
just
it's cool, personally.
I mean,
he can
it's
handle
not like he doesn't already know we're thinking it. So it's kind of like when you verbalize it, God's like, oh, thank you. I didn't even know you felt that way.
Yeah. I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you. I wouldn't have known.
For you being honest.
Well, how insightful of you to clue me in on your deep, dark feelings that you have about me. So, but you know, the thing I go back to.
Keep
and
going with this. This is good.
It's the chiropractic. It's what chiropractic gave me. And I said this, I honestly have said this 1,000,000 times or more. My patients would be like, I know. Back when I was in clinical practice, I would always say, God does not need help healing you. God needs no interference. And I would say that to every single person as many times as I could say it to them, because I believed it was the one thing that they needed to know in order to live a life that was going to be abundant and full of joy and really reach their full potential. Because really that was my goal with getting well. It was, I knew God didn't need help. The healing had already happened, Warren. Did God form me and make me and leave something out? No, the healing was done. I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. I was made in his image. That's pretty powerful if you think about that. I mean, the same power that rotates the earth and stirs the seas is the power that was breathed into me. That the greatest doctor in the world is inside of me. Even if you don't believe in God or the Bible, 1 John 4:4 really isn't a religious statement. Greater is he that's in you than he that's in the world. The greatest doctor is within, above, down, inside, and out. My goal, and it still is to this day, is to teach people that foundational principle, looking within versus looking outside for solutions and answers and trying to find things to treat conditions. We don't need more healing in life. We need less interference. And that's really the foundation. I remember speaking from stage years ago. This was in the heart of my chiropractic career. And I said, children and adults and the whole world does not need chiropractic care from birth to death. I'm tired of hearing that.
Yeah.
I said, people need no interference from birth to death, which is why my practice evolved. I've evolved because I wasn't just sitting around on Atlas adjustments as my body's being destroyed with this metastatic cancer.
Yeah.
There are limitations that matter. You jump off a building with a clear nervous system, you're about to find out about physics and hard matter, right? So the most perfectly tuned nervous system, once you break laws of health, there isn't any answer for that outside of knowing that there's other things that maybe you're not adapting to. So that's where I've evolved. I know you have as well. And it's good to be where I am today because, my whole career and everything that I do now has a different face, but the heart and the core, but still the same. And my story gave me the confidence that I never could have ever had before. Because when I speak now, I speak a little different.
Yeah, you do.
I spoke with conviction before, but it was a belief. I told you now that belief gets tested. It's a conviction. When I speak about health and wellness, I don't just say it. I know it to be true because I was proven right in my worst moment with the most fear I'd ever had in my life. And God showed up. I trusted what he had taught me. I put it to the ultimate test, and here I am. And now I'm helping people in a whole new way. And I'm doing it in a way I could have never thought possible. Man, life is interesting.
It is interesting.
Life is interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I that's why it's neat interviewing you and Rob, just looking how we've evolved, what we've been through. We talked about relationships. I mean, when I met you, wasn't even, you were like, how's that guy going to get married? I was saying the same thing to myself. And as a matter of fact, when I found my wife, which is Isaac's sister, right? Because we were coaching him back in the day.
Yeah. The irony.
The irony. Do you know that what I heard was another moment where God spoke to me.
Yeah.
Where I had that download, and I was going in my head, I'm never going to get married. Like I was going through it was a neurolinguistic programming to reprogram your mind to have better beliefs and what's your BS, your belief system, your foundation. We were going through like a belief system. And in my mind, I was going, well, I don't, and I got out of the exercise. I wasn't really good at NLP. I'm not naturally like the salesman type because a lot of the NLP, so I was not doing well in the course at all.
The more you know about somebody, the more you can control them.
Yeah, like that part. Like they were talking about like nonverbals, but I did learn a lot about, I think there's a lot of basic human psychology principles there. So I'm sitting there and I'm going through, in my mind, I'm lost. I'm not really paying attention, but I'm like, in my mind, because I'm like, this desire to be married and have children is in me, right? It's not in everybody, but it's in me.
No doubt.
And I'm like, well, I don't have enough money right now. I stink. I'm still sick. And I'm making all these excuses, right? And I learned some of these techniques, and I was still at this seminar. You're not supposed to think these things.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the NLP rewire your brain thing that happened. This voice showed up in my mind, in my heart, that said, Warren, you can have all of that right now. Just choose it. Just choose it. It's yours. You can have, I'll provide all the money you need. You're going to get well. All those things are going to happen. You just have to choose that gift is there for you.
Yeah.
Just choose it. Take it. And I did. I married her
Unbelievable.
3 months later. And that was before I knew for a fact. Well, I kind of had like one of those moments too, like the light shined on this individual and happened to be, that's your future wife. And I always threw that one out because I'm not going to be that guy because I'm, more science based. I'm never going to move on emotion because I knew it's like, I'm like, you move on emotion, you're going to wind up in a horrible relationship, right? You just don't meet someone and that's going to be your future wife. I saw that in the church. I was like, all those guys wound up divorced.
Man.
It didn't end well, right? They got into abusive relationships just because, they loved God together. They think they was going to clean up their messes and not understand things, and they didn't end well. So I wasn't going to do that. But anyway, it's another one of those moments. Yeah. I have a question for you.
What you got?
Besides the most important thing, which I think is mindset to heal that cancer diagnosis, what else did you do? I think the listeners want to know, like, what else? What other modalities that you do? I'm like, you needed other things, but that was the core.
Yeah, no, good question. And I will.
Are you
divulge.
Under an NDA with him?
No.
It doesn't have to be just in general.
No. I'm giving you a hard time. I'm giving the audience a hard time because everybody's like, can you just get to what you did? I get the mindset. I get all that. What did you do? Because that's really what people want.
You left it out there
to know. But since we did discuss the mindset, the subluxation of the mind, and we definitely cleared that out, let's talk about some things that I did do. So I was kind of in the biohacking world, not by choice, but before it was even cool. So they were doing a lot of strategies with me to help me heal through frequency, which at that time to me was a little foreign, to be quite honest. But all the healing arts, vibration, frequency, energy, voltage. So lots of bioresonance type treatments, a lot of oncological hyperthermia, where they'd heat the body up at very, very high temperature, which, healthy cells adapt beautifully. Abnormal cells tap out and die. Pretty interesting. They would do ozone treatments with me. Pretty cool. So they would do closed circuit ozone treatments, draw my blood, light me up with ozone, flush it full of oxygen, reinfuse it back into my system. I was doing, what else was I doing? Ozone, hyperthermia, bioresonance. I worked with a magnetic healer. Craziest story ever. This guy was supposed to be the top magnetic healer in Europe. This guy had to be in his 80s. And I remember they put me in a room and I'm laying in there and they walk in. He's got his assistant. He's chanting off all these different organ systems. His assistant's placing magnets on me. They tell me they'll be back in a few minutes. Just later, they'll be still. They cut the light, shut the door. And then I start to become freezing cold, like it was below zero. I was shaking uncontrollably. They come back in, chant off more organ systems in Spanish, replace the magnets, say the same thing. We'll be back in a few minutes. Just lay there, relax. Now start to sweat profusely.
Oh my gosh.
This is insane. Nobody changed the temperature in the room. Isn't that crazy?
I believe it now. I wouldn't have believed it.
No, I wouldn't have either. It almost sounds a little woo, but
Yeah.
it's real talk, man. So we were doing some detoxification strategies as well. I feel like I'm maybe missing a few things that we were doing.
No, that's great.
PAPIMI, which is pulse electromagnetic frequency.
Yeah.
Which was at that time was not aware of that. Wow, what a powerful strategy. I think most people probably use PIMP on some level now if you're in that space. I've been using it for 15 years. But over that time, the body, we weren't treating the cancer, just really getting the body into a place where it could adapt, where it could detox, remove the interference. We weren't trying to get more healing to my body because that was already established. We just needed to figure out how to get rid of this interference. So working on those things there, working on my emotional health with other things, and then some nutritional strategies I made, which were huge because I always talk about my life BC and AC. You can probably imagine before cancer, after cancer. So before cancer, I'm the guy who eats 6 times a day. I'm that guy. Protein bars, protein shakes, trying to weigh 185 pounds, working out way too much, really in a bad metabolic state, just living in this mTOR growth phase, just overusing it. And also doing a lot of seed oil at that time. I was thinking it was expeller pressed safflower oil, flaxseed oil, tons of fish oil. I was crushing fish oil.
And some of those are rancid.
Most of them are.
Yeah, most, yeah.
Yeah, and just dousing my body with all this PUFA, thinking, hey, that's what I need to be doing. So I'm eating all these small meals, protein bars, protein shakes, a lot of artificial sweeteners. I'm getting all these insulin hits, working out too much, stressed out. So when I got over to Spain, I started looking at people and, they're not eating all day long. They're kind of waking up, chilling, maybe grab something to eat around, 10, 11, 12.
Yeah.
Hour or two, chill. One of the doctors I worked with in Spain, he would smoke 2 Davidoffs and drink a couple of San Miguels at lunch, just chilling out, relaxing, no stress, no anxiety. And then you'd reconvene with another group of people and have dinner 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night. So more of that 2 meal a day. Everybody's active. They're not eating artificial foods. Of course, over there, they don't have all the artificial ingredients that we have here. There's over 10,000 different chemicals they've approved to put into our food supply. Heck, you know these numbers better than me. Over 80,000 chemicals potentially we could be exposed to. So not that they're not there, but I just saw a different way of looking at health, life, and they did drink more than we do. They do smoke more than we do. But those were the things I could see and take it for what it was, because what I really saw were people that lived a different life. They believed in community. They ate real food. They ate it when they were hungry. They ate less often. They weren't consumed with what their next meal was always going to be unless you were a tourist. So I stopped eating all the time. I started getting into some fasting. I started really cleaning up the diet, eating more animal-based, getting rid of any and all seed oil, and the emotional changes, the biohacking strategies, obviously stay into my core values, my mental strength, and just working on all of those things collectively, and then really going back and making changes too with body care products. And where am I getting toxins? Where's this coming from? Is the water I'm drinking, the air I'm breathing, the food I'm eating, and just start taking inventory. Because when you get yourself in that situation, you're like, okay, what's my role here? Because I don't believe it's just, I got this bad poker hand. I really believe that I had God's genetics and I was the one that was breaking this thing up and getting myself there, if that makes any sense.
It makes total sense to me. I mean, that's my mom. She had lumpectomies, but she refused tamoxifen and she wouldn't do chemo. She may have done a little bit of radiation or maybe none at all. I'm not sure. I had to ask her that, but that was in 2004.
Yeah.
And that's right when I got sick too.
Okay.
Oh shit. I forgot about that.
Wow.
I just put that together. Right when I got sick.
You're welcome.
Yeah. I always talked about like another emotional trauma, but my mom got cancer. So no wonder.
There you go.
Another one for me.
It's always there.
Yeah.
It's
the first time
there.
I put that together because I just asked her. I just asked her for the other day because I just did a video on the benefits of infrared sauna, of sauna. And I wanted to know how old her sauna was because she got one right away.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to make sure I was accurate when I said she's still using that same sauna today. And she is using the same sauna. She had to get new panels because
from 2000 when?
2000. She got the sauna in 2005.
Okay, yeah.
So because she didn't do chemo, she didn't do tamoxifen
Yeah.
for the breast, but she had like a whole, like a lobe and a half of her lung removed. She did do the cutting out,
Yeah.
right? The
Yeah.
lumpectomies, and then the breast as well. 2 separate cancers. It didn't metastasize at this point. That's when I got sick. So that's a wow moment. I'm surprised. I think I just blocked that shit because I'm thinking about it now.
We block it.
Because I'm thinking about it now. I don't really remember the phone call. I vaguely remember, but I was close with my mom. Like when I come home from going out, I'm always like, give her a kiss when I come home and check in on her. And she had, health challenges, even growing up. She had colitis and inflammatory challenges, but I was, very close to my mom. We're still tight, right? Just snuggly and tight. I was her little boy, right? And I got to go back there. Like I was thinking I had, stuff pretty cleared out, but looks like I got an emotional subluxation.
Got to unpack that.
Yeah, so I'm confessing on my own podcast. That's interesting. But she decided not to do that route, and she's the only person she could find then was Jordan Rubin, who I just texted Jordan. I haven't texted Jordan in probably 10 years.
Okay, wow.
First thing he asked as always is, how are your kids? Because he's a kid freak. He loves children. Like he's adopted children. Like has a heart centered for children. So of course I have to send him pictures. But she followed his diet recommendations. Yeah. Did sauna and detox, cleaned up all of her personal care products, went non-toxic living. Yeah. Before I even did it, because I thought she was nuts. So this is, I guess, a lot of I won't get emotional, but a lot of what I do today is probably because of that.
Man, it's 100% why you do what you do, man. It's like our pain really is the purpose. You're in your best equipped to help the person that you used to be. It became very obvious to me pretty quickly in Spain that the purpose of me going through what I went through wasn't just not to die. There was something bigger that God was doing, and I wasn't sure what that was going to be. But I knew it wasn't about surviving some cancer diagnosis. It was really about, what am I going to learn? Who am I going to become? And what's the resiliency in me? What's going to build in me? And who am I going to be on the other side of this? And that's what I was most curious about. And so now, today, no longer even being in a practice clinically and starting a metabolism company with my best friend, Dr. Rob Vasquez. Happy Healthy, by the way. Shameless plug. A great clinical outcome. More happy, more healthy people. That's what the world needs. Amen. But now helping heal people metabolically, and now doing it in an online space where we're in 5 other countries, helping people all over, helping more people than I could have ever helped, sitting in the 4 walls of a clinic. That gave me a great foundation and taught me so much. But to see, the impact that I'm able and have the privilege of having now, I just could have never known back in July of 2010 when my life felt like it was over. And now here we are today, and God had a different plan.
Yeah, it's beautifully said, man. And it's interesting. Like I talk to some docs, I'm like, you got to stay in your local community, right? It's because everyone wants to, do the online thing, but you really got to know why you want to do the online thing, because it is the future. Don't get me wrong, but there's also a community that needs you, right? That needs a place to come in, like a chiropractic office, a natural healing office, even if you're not practicing, functional medicine, but you have a huge heart and you see your patients for 45 minutes and you're still giving them, drugs. If you're sitting down with them for 30 minutes and talking to them, you're still a place of safety. Don't get on to online, telemedicine, right? That community that is so critical for people to come in.
No question.
Doctor means teacher. So I'm going to ask my favorite questions now, because we had a wonderful podcast and I could talk to you for another half hour, but we got to keep these things tight as we can. So I always ask this question. Of all we're non-toxic living here, right? That's this podcast. Out of all the toxins, I have those categories: the things that you eat, ingestion, the things that you breathe, inhalation, absorption through the skin, the toxic products we put on our skin. It's our, second largest organ. Someone told me your muscle is your second largest organ. So I don't know on that one. I'll ask you. Mindset, frequencies, right? Which can destroy the body or heal the body. I've been seeing more of that in my life now. That's showing up some of those machines that can read your energy. I'm like, how did that thing know that? Like, that's weird.
Read your mail.
Yeah, I'm not there yet, but after hearing your story and a couple others, I need to go down that rabbit hole in some more detail. But out of all of that, the different ways toxins can impact our life, what do you think is the number one, one or two toxins that in those categories that concern you the most?
Yeah. I think a big concern is two things. I think number one, it is industrial seed oil. I'm sure you've heard this a million times at this point, but
I want to hear it again.
We need to hear it and we need to keep saying it, because I really believe it is the one thing, when you look at us as a society over the last 100 years, it's really the one thing that's been introduced into our food supply where you see a direct correlation with chronic disease, illness, and obesity. And it is a metabolic poison. It's not like you can just eat it and then move on. What's a 680-day half-life? So after 680 days, half of it is still in your system.
It's really hard to get rid of.
It's a metabolic poison. It literally destroys the mitochondria, your ability to create energy, among other things. But I think it's right in there. PUFA is so dangerous.
And cancer is a metabolic disease.
And that's what I'd never, ever thought about until I got sick. And now you're seeing, everything really is the same stinking diagnosis. It's all downstream, poor metabolic function. So like cancer is what? Type 3 diabetes, and then Alzheimer's type 4, and then, this disease is type 5 and type 6 and type 7. They all have these commonalities. And remember, you really can't make anybody diabetic unless you give them seed oil. When they're doing tests with animals to induce a diabetic environment, they don't just give them sugar. You have to give them seed oil because of what it does to create insulin resistance. So that's a huge thing to understand. So I'm not saying go out there and eat a lot of sugar. Natural sugar can be just fine. It's really not the villain. The biggest villain is what's happening to your mitochondria, to your cellular health, and your ability to take in nutrients and detox. And that's all contingent really on your ability to not only eat healthy fats, but avoid the fats that are killing us, which is, really why we created the metabolism program with Happy Healthy, because we detox people from years of stored linoleic acid.
Yeah, so I got to ask you this question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So to induce insulin resistance in rats, it's not just sugar.
They can't do it with sugar.
They can't do it with sugar. They have to add seed oils.
You have to give them industrial seed oil.
And that triggers insulin
because
resistance.
it causes the fat cells to go into hypertrophy. So they explode and break and become like a separate endocrine organ. And so there's a fatty acid that's released that tells the muscle and the liver to become insulin resistant. So that's how you create a type 2 diabetic environment. You can't create the diabetes without the seed oil. Remember,
you can't create diabetes
I don't
without
think you
seed
can.
oil. Yeah.
I don't think you can, because you think about how many cases of diabetes were there in 1890, in 1910, and they were eating tons more sugar than we even eat today. You have to introduce seed oil. It's that metabolically toxic. So I think, number one, there's no reason to eat it. There's no reason to eat it when you've got amazing, healthy, tasty fats, animal-based fats, grass-fed butter. Another shameless plug, Dr. Rob and I developed a product called SCT oil. It's a short-chain triglyceride oil.
I have some of that.
Rich in butyric acid, so healthy for the gut-brain axis. You got a 500-degree smoke point. Eating animal-based nutrition is so valuable, and the fats are essential. Even coconut oil, if you're trying to maybe avoid animal fats for whatever reason, but there just isn't any reason to eat seed oil any longer. Most people are getting it, if they're intentional in their kitchen, they're getting it when they go out to eat. When you go out to eat, you let them know. We were joking about it earlier, but it's real. Everybody's allergic to it. It's a metabolic poison.
Yeah,
you let them know, I don't eat it,
My
and I'm
cells are
allergic to it. And if you give it to me, I could die at the table. The chef comes out, what is it that you can't have? And they will not allow you to get it. They can cook in butter. Like earlier today, I ate at the restaurant here. I wasn't sure what they were cooking in, so I got my eggs poached to take any oil out of it. I got a steak on the grill, made sure there was nothing that they were marinating the steak in. So I just took those precautions, and they're little things, but they go a long way, especially when you think about the half-life of seed oil and how devastating it can be to the human metabolism, which is the lifeblood of longevity. When you stop producing energy, you're dying. And your energy production is contingent on the health of your cells, your mitochondria, and your ability to avoid the things that make you sick. Remember, God doesn't need help. He needs no interference. And then the second thing really quickly is it's obviously got to be EMF, right? It's got to be these frequencies, this 5G, They keep cranking it up on us. It's everywhere. Voltage and frequency, I believe, is really the next wave in health and healing.
It's coming.
It is coming. It's already on us, but also knowing what is making us sick, what is damaging, because just like, PUFA and seed oil damage the cells of the body, allowing calcium into the cells to create these oxalams, these oxidative linoleic acid metabolites, which cause serious damage to the body. EMF does the exact same thing. It takes the calcium from outside the cell, moves it into the cell, and the exact same process is happening. So we don't think about that. We think about it's only what we're eating. So what are you breathing? What are you exposed to? What are you drinking? I think EMF and I think seed oil, once we can really start having healthy conversations about that, and maybe even like who knows, maybe a Bobby Kennedy can make some change here. I'm kind of rooting for this guy maybe to get a place in this.
Yeah, I really like
not really a political guy, but how can you not root for a guy who's wanting to disrupt that industry, man?
Yeah.
You better believe it. We're all in on this, something like that. It needs to be disrupted. It's sick. And here's the thing. I told you earlier that I've always been a guy who wanted to disrupt, and I wanted to right the wrong. This is wrong, Warren, what they're doing. We are being poisoned. You look around, what the stats say, almost 95% of Americans are metabolically sick and unhealthy. We're being poisoned, and it's intentional. And there's something can be done about it, but it starts with you. Get yourself out of the system, take responsibility for your health, listen to podcasts like this. There's so much wealth of information out there. I think I'm always listening to podcasts now. I want to learn. I want to grow. I want to challenge everything I've ever believed, because almost everything I've ever believed, I found out that it wasn't true. And everything that you believe is true right up until the moment that you find out that it's not.
That's true.
And it's like, oh my gosh, right? It's like, I cannot believe. So what is it that you believe, and why do you believe it? And it's okay to disrupt and challenge the status quo. I think that's one of the reasons that God still has me on this planet. I think it's why he still got you on this planet. I think that's why we're here. Let's stand up for what's right. Let's tell the truth. Let's be bold. Let's be courageous. And I hope my story inspires more people than it doesn't, because whatever you've ever gone through, we've all have a story, right? But at the end of the day, your story, your pain can be your purpose, and God can use that in your life to impact people. So I encourage everybody, tell your story, be bold, be courageous.
Amen.
Amen to that.
That's pretty much a wrap on this, but what I want to encourage people with as we end this podcast is one thing I always tell myself and I tell my friends is just be brave enough. Be brave enough to question your belief systems.
Yeah.
Like whatever it may be, it could be
Scary.
Your spiritual belief systems, what you believe about medicine, what you believe about food. Be brave enough to test what you believe. If you sit back and just drink the Kool-Aid that you're being told from your medical doctor, even from your pastor, even from your friends or from the TV, you have to be brave enough to say, you know what? I do believe this medical doctor, but I'm going to be brave enough to listen to a podcast like this, a podcast like yours, or Huberman Labs, or all these great podcasts, or even to question, well, you're a vegetarian or you're an all-meat person. Be brave enough to look at the other side and be like, I want to see what you have to offer. Because there is gold there on both sides. There's always gold. There's always a common ground. And I have friends that are on opposite side of politics that find people and they find common ground and they find something that they both agree on, that they get excited about because they found like energy. Instead of drilling yourself into a hole and saying, this is what I believe, making some excuse as to why you believe it, and not being brave enough to question it, you're not going to grow. You're going to be stagnant. Your energy is going to be stagnant. Your life will be stagnant. When you start questioning things and not questioning, your political candidate, that they might be both sides, right? You got to question them and figure out who they are, accept them for who they are, accept this individual. And then here's the things that aren't good about them, but you have to be brave. It's hard because our brains want to be safe.
I know.
We just want to be safe, like this person's going to save our lives, or this procedure is going to save your lives. You were brave enough to not do, even where you're at with chiropractic, natural healing as your core of who you are. I don't know how many people that were in your shoes still were not brave enough to get on a plane and trust some guy in Spain for his healing, right? but it ultimately wasn't him who healed you. It was you healed yourself.
Yeah,
but it took bravery, right? And
well, it did take it, but it was because of the foundational principles that had been poured and laid into my life.
It gave you the bravery.
Because that gave me the strength to ask those questions. You know, I wouldn't have been strong enough. You know, if I'd have had that diagnosis at 5-10 years earlier, I don't think I'm alive today, Warren. So, you know, I'm very thankful because there's plenty of people that are brave and strong who go through something and they don't make it, right?
Yeah, a lot.
And sometimes it doesn't make sense. Sometimes life, it just doesn't make sense. But there's something comforting when we can explain everything away. And sometimes the answer is, you know, I really don't know. I can't control all the variables. I can't control how life is going to play out for me. Almost every success I've ever had in life, I didn't pray for any of it. And the things I really desired and prayed for, those never even came to me yet, maybe.
Yeah.
But that's not what life is about. And if you're only happy when things go your way, you're probably not that happy.
No. If you can be happy when things aren't going your way because you know that they're going to, you know.
It's the opportunity, right? That's when you grow. That's when you learn. What an incredible opportunity to find out who you are, what you're made of, and what you really believe. So I think that was the way I have to look at it. It's a lot easier to laugh and talk about it now. I don't know that I was this confident and positive in the moment, but even in those moments where you're not sure if you can take one more step forward, just take that next step, right? That's what you got to do. Keep moving forward. Don't ever think that you're not capable. You're capable. We are all capable of more than what we even can possibly imagine.
I agree. I think the world has definitely not told us that.
We've been groomed the opposite way.
Yeah, because we are brilliant. We are self-healing
We're more than
organisms.
enough, baby.
Yeah, we are. So I want people to know how they can find you, Randy. Like, how can they connect with you on social media?
Yeah.
Websites.
Well, I would say
handles.
Yeah, a great place to connect with us is at the H2 Life on Instagram. So the letter H, number 2 Life, the H2 Life on Instagram. And then we have a podcast, the Happy Healthy Life podcast. Also, thehappyhealthylife.com. You can connect with us there. We're just trying to get the message out. We would love to have people connect with us. Reach out. Let us know if you liked what we talked about. I think you even did one. Well, I know you interviewed Dr. Rob as well, my best friend for 21 years.
Come on.
My business partner, the man that is a brother to me. So thankful for this guy. He's been one of my mentors. How great is that God put Dr. Rob Vasquez in my life all those years ago? I don't think I would even be here today without him because there's a lot more to the story where he's played a huge role, but he's still to this day best friend, brother, mentor, an incredible man. What a leader. And we get to, do life together with a company called Happy Healthy. If you could just name a company, just call it what you want to call it. Yeah. Happy Healthy. That's what we did. We're loving it. And now we're teaching and helping more people in a way. Once again, we're these old school brick and mortar chiro guys. What are we doing, Warren? I still don't have any idea. But I think God says, keep doing what you're doing because every life matters. And I think we're not going to quit anytime soon.
You guys are both happy, healthy guys. So I think you're living your mission. And I do appreciate you taking time to be on this podcast. It means a lot to me, and it means a lot to the people out there. And you shared really great energy and love today. So thanks again.
Oh, man, what a privilege. I've loved reconnecting. I love you. Thank you for what you're doing. You're making such a massive impact. It's such an honor to be a part of something like this. Best of luck to you. I know you don't need luck, but we're always in your corner. Always got your back, my friend.
Same. Thanks again, man.
God bless.
Thanks for listening to the Happy Healthy Life podcast. If you enjoy the show, make sure to follow them on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook at The Happy Healthy Guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, and review the show wherever you listen to podcasts.